What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Dirty Shore Underground podcast. Tonight we're going to get nerdy once again. Rob is going to probably protest the nerdiness the entire time, although he's flicked a couple Pokeballs himself, as I've heard. But before we get into it, as always, Rob.
First of all, thank you for joining us for this ridiculous topic. Yes, we're two grown men about to talk about Pokemon because that's the state the world is in today. But if you'd like to check out this episode or any episode, make sure you check out DirtyShoreUnderground.com. You can find this episode there and new episodes every Thursday. And in fact, you can check out the entire catalog of episodes right there at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. While you're there, make sure you click through the Amazon link. It's a great way to help support the podcast. It costs you nothing extra, but as a thank you for sending you there, Amazon gives us a little something, helps us keep the lights on, keep the internet flowing, so that we can produce all this free content for you every single week.
My stomach hurts. Okay, go to your room.
So also make sure you're checking out Dirty Shore at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's the best way that you can keep a track with what's going on. You can get links to the live stream. We send those out through all the social networks, so make sure you're staying abreast that way. Also, of course, make sure you're following on YouTube. YouTube.com/C/DirtyShoreUG-OTA. You can come in and join us, be part of the podcast. We already have a spirited discussion going on in the comments section. So scroll on down where it says live comments, click right there, join in, become part of the conversation. They're already going it so fast I can't keep up. So
it's quick tonight.
Yeah, so you're
watchers.
You're missing out on half the show if you're not joining us on the live stream. So make sure you do that. Again, at youtube.com/C/DirtyShoreUG-OTA. So let's just dive. I've been trying to keep up with the comments a lot of talk, and there's.
You're not throwing my phone.
There are people from both camps in the comments section already. So that's always good to see. But let's give, for those people who may not know, who may be listening, let's give a breakdown. Today's topic, of course, if you've seen by the title, is Pokemon Go, which is the new sensation from Nintendo.
It's been out a week officially today.
Today was officially a week. And
for other countries.
Well, yeah, not for us.
The United States got it on Thursday.
And apparently they're also judging me because they know exactly what I'm going to bring up later. We'll get to that, guys. We'll get to that. So, what are your initial impressions about the Pokemon Go phenomenon?
Gives me something to do while I'm walking.
Okay.
Obviously, since I haven't been able to work in the last week because the trucks broke down, I went out each day and I walked 6 to 6.5 miles each day, and some days we got groups of 4 or 5. Yes, most people are around the age of 30 because Pokemon came around when we were all younger, 10, 12, 13, so it doesn't surprise me. Then we got a group of 12-year-olds that are currently running around thinking they're the shit.
So here's my first comment. To the group of 30-year-olds walking around town catching Pokemon. If you can catch a Pokemon, you can catch a job. So maybe we should take all this energy that we're using walking around town, catching invisible things on our phone, to catch some applications and put them motherfuckers in.
Hey, I do that too.
I'm sure that you do. But it astounds me that I have found. So Gotham Guy, we'll go to Gotham Guy's comment first. Gotham Guy says it brings people together who'd otherwise wouldn't be together. Been helping with motivation and depression. Flash says, had to explain to one of my work minions who Ash was. I think that, actually, I'll reserve my comments for later. But one thing I heard, I've seen a lot of groups out and about. It seems weirdly that the towns on the Eastern Shore have a lot going on. And I don't know if it's the same way everywhere, but there seems to be a lot of activity on the towns in the Eastern Shore.
Apparently the Holocaust Museum has told people not to catch Pokemon in their museum
and
anymore,
Arlington National Cemetery and a couple of other places. But I heard this discussion going on. Well, one of my complaints is that I have a couple of very quiet, nice places that I go to write. And unfortunately, 2 of those places are gyms. So now I show up and I start writing and I put my headphones in and I am in the zone and I look up and there's like 40 people in the park because they're all there for the gym. And I don't know what the gym means or any of that, but one conversation I heard was how one guy came dressed as Ash.
No shit.
So he was talking about how it was a Halloween costume, and he had talked to some kids who had no idea who Ash was, and Flash was just saying that she had to explain to one of her work minions who Ash was, and he had to explain to these people who Ash was, who the kids. So then he came dressed as Ash, and it was like they'd seen pictures of Ash on T-shirts and book bags and stuff, but they'd never watched the cartoon. So they had no idea who he actually was.
It's like with Power Rangers.
Yeah.
These kids don't know the originals.
Sorry, wow, comments are coming fast and furious. It seems dead in LA based on a YouTuber video, so is it possible that Denton has more action going on than LA? Who would have thought? Miranda, thank you for joining us this week. Miranda says people need to be using common sense. Oh, damn it. Common sense and common courtesy with their adventures. Agreed. Gotham Guy said Holocaust Museum asked a coughing was caught there. That was part of the problem. Flash says if you're going to do it, also download Charity Miles. It's free and we'll donate your mile to your chosen charity. I highly, highly recommend that recommendation. When I was running outside, not inside, last year, I actually downloaded Charity Miles and donated it some money.
Hey, Brian, if you're in the complex, you can come join us.
Brian, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. But, so, I mean, there's a lot of positives to come out of it. One, I see an older generation of, I'm not going to call them nerds, because nerds are...
The South Park type from that Warcraft episode.
I mean, I think that there's an entire hierarchy, but what I'll say is that nerd culture has also been kind of coerced into all of a lot of society. Like, we used to think of comic books as nerd stuff, but now it's widely accepted.
So popular.
Right, but what I see is an older generation who enjoys this thing, also helping out a younger generation to greater understand the thing that they're enjoying. Because the younger generation is like, hey, it's a video game I can go play outside. The older generation is like, wait, buddy. There's this whole history that you have to catch up with. So that part is good. Sorry, Miranda says the game would be great if you didn't have to go to different locations, though. I mean, I walk plenty of 2 jobs, no time to walk more. I agree with you 100%, Miranda. That's kind of ridiculous. It is kind of the point.
Been trying to get people active for the last...
And we'll get to that part of it. So Gotham Guy says, yeah, people are not being smart and not using common sense. Absolutely not. So the one aspect is that they are sharing this greater phenomenon, Pokemon phenomenon, with younger kids. But they're also, as Gotham Guy I think mentioned earlier, is people who PTSD, people who have all sorts of stuff going on, who haven't left the house, who had fear to leave the house, are actually leaving their house. Because it's like, even if you're walking out there, you're never alone very long. Because the next thing you know, you look up, there's somebody else looking down at their phone. And the international sign, and this is what I've come to learn. If I have my phone in the typical stance, then nobody talks to me. If I lower it down, and I'm actually looking down at it, that is the Pokemon stance.
Have you been at the courthouse outside and people asked you what team you're on?
I haven't, but I've been around town and I think people assume when I'm writing at the gyms that I take advantage of the gym being there, and like, I know there's a wait period, like you can only do stuff and then you have to wait for stuff, like wait a certain amount of time and then go back again.
If your team owns it, you train there.
Right.
If the other team owns it, you're trying to take it over.
Okay.
It's very complex in a way.
Yeah. So the people getting out and about is amazing. And the way that people are talking about depression, how it's helping with their depression, their social anxiety. Yeah. Here's the thing. Getting outside is good for human beings. We are social creatures, and we are predisposed to enjoy the outside. It just took this to get people out there.
Because the internet basically killed it.
Right. And so, you and I growing up, you played Pokemon, I did not, but nonetheless, like, when you were looking for where is everybody, it was ride your bike around until you see a bunch of bikes dumped off in somebody's front yard. That's where everybody is.
Yep.
Now it's let's sit at home and we're going to chat with each other, Snapchat each other on the phone.
Facebook and all that bullshit.
And we don't actually have to be in the same place. So it's a totally different experience, and I get that. So this is getting people back out. That's also a good thing. But I guess we can talk about it a little bit. Like you said, Nintendo and I guess the Pokemon franchise altogether has been trying to do this for a while now. This is not the first incarnation of Pokemon.
They had a little round thing that looked like a Pokeball at one point. It was connected with one of their games, as far as I'm aware of, from what I've read. And just by having it connected with the game, if you had it on when you went out and walked, that alone would level up your Pokemon.
Right.
So you didn't actually have to fight; you just had to go out and walk.
So I do want to say, I want to make one comment because Miranda, their conversation again going on in the comments. If you're not joining us for the comments, you're missing half the show. But in the comments at youtube.com/c/dirtyshortug -OTA. They've gone to Flash said it feels like a cult. Gotham Guy says to an extent it is, and Miranda says it is. It's the cult of the sheeple, and she said not to take my side. We can get to that a little bit later, but I love that comment. It is
I
kind
don't
of
want to get to that side because we know how I feel about that side.
But so so the original one was Pokemon was a card game. So you would take your stuff to somebody's house, or was it a cartoon before that?
Yes.
Okay, so cartoon before that. But it's in game form. It was originally.
And before it was a cartoon in America, it was Pocket Monsters in Japan. So.
Okay, but it was Gotham Guy. I want you to read. I'm going to ask you to copy and paste that comment in a little bit because I do want to get to that. And I think Miranda is just making an answer to that. But so it's as in game form though. It started out as a card game. And then we advanced.
Then it started a card game.
I thought it was a card game first.
It grew into a card game.
So it started out as the 8-bit Game Boy game first?
I don't know how it started in Japan, but the card game came later because they thought it would grow into what Magic was.
I don't give a fuck what the Japanese do. Alright?
I know, but every card games and everything else come from the Japanese.
Do you know the Japanese tech convention got shut down? You know why it got shut down? Because they had a VR sex bot that people broke because they were testing it out too much. The Japanese I don't trust for anything, alright? So, nonetheless,
almost
in America.
Everything we have comes from China and Japan.
Yeah, arguably it's made there, but technology is from here. So,
it's designed here, but made there.
Right, but so, it started out in America as a card game.
Yeah.
Was it on Game Boy before it was a card game?
Yep.
I thought I remember the cards being first.
Because I was playing Magic before Pokemon came out.
Right. Yeah.
And then Pokemon came out with the game and the TV show, and then the card game came later. So I got into the card game because somebody stole all my Magic cards.
Yeah.
Which I had like $6 grand worth.
Okay. All right, so guys, I see what's going on in the comments. Really, seriously, we're gonna get to that. Just hold off on that. The comments are going crazy again.
Nerd stuff brings the comments out, man.
Make sure you're joining us at youtube.com/c/short UG-OTA. And obviously, if you're watching this or listening to this later, you can always come back and view the comments after the fact. So make sure you do that as well.
I'm off topic a little bit. I know you don't like cartoons and shit. But Ultimate Spider-Man Season 3 is now on Netflix.
Okay.
Still waiting for Peter Parker to die, so Miles comes in.
Right. But, alright, so started out as the Game Boy game, became the card game. And then the card game has limitations, though. Because really it's like Magic.
You're trying to get everything you need to be able to get where you need to go.
You get a good deck, but eventually you can even have all of the cards. And then they get expanded decks, and you can get all of those cards. And you're playing one-on-one, but there's not so much the evolution of the card is more about finding the evolution than it is being involved in the training. And the video games certainly helped with that. It was you're taking part in the training and the evolution. So the early Game Boy games were really limited. It was playing the computer on the game. And then you talked about the Pokeball that they had. That I think I remember it being connected to that port that they had on the bottom of the Game Boy. Or
that was so you could trade between red and blue, so you had the entire.
That's what it was. Yeah, okay.
The light cable, because I started replaying through an emulator, and I'm stuck in like the first 20 minutes of the game because I don't remember where the fuck to go.
Kenny is Team Instinct, which means nothing to me, but apparently that's what he is, and he's in a battle with a bunch of 12-year-olds who are Team Mystic, so it also doesn't mean anything.
I'm not in a battle with them. I just think it's funny that they left a note at a church.
Yeah. And
one of the, the Camp Pacomas that does the church thing every year?
Yeah.
They wrote Team Blue on the signs out in front of St. Luke's. I'm like, why? I was like, you're just going to piss a bunch of people off.
Yeah.
And we're going to get in trouble every time we walk by here.
Right. But because everything always devolves, that's what happens. But anyway, so card game, video games, and then we had the Pokeball that you could take out. And then Nintendo's next invention was, hey, you can connect directly with your friends and battle with your friends. Go outside and go find your friends. But instead of doing that, it was people coming over to the house and just having like parties. And then the next step after that was Nintendo saying, hey, we'll connect you with other people who you don't know that you can battle out in public, wirelessly. Go out and meet people. And that didn't really work out either. But for some reason, this has been the thing that has just exploded. And I don't know why.
I've seen so many different people out,
yeah.
From young to old.
Well, and I think that the other thing is it's the flavor of the week right now. So people want to come out, they want to do it, they want to just be part of what's happening, less than they do care about Pokemon.
I mean, there's been people that checked it out just because it is the flavor of the week, but then they enjoy themselves just because it gives them something to do while they're walking. A pregnant lady, which is one of Matt's friends.
Yeah.
We were all walking around together the other night. She's like, man, I need to do this every night.
It's a good excuse to get out. Yeah.
You know, it's something we can do. We just walk around, we have fun, we bullshit, we come across something in this fucking game, that's one thing. If not, we're all out having fun, having bullshit.
Yeah. So but it's caught on, it's connecting communities, which is weird. Because there are people I see walking together who would never talk to each other. And you hear stories about people who are connecting in communities who would never talk to each other before. I heard this great story from Baltimore where a bunch of people are at BronyCon, which happened last weekend.
What's BronyCon?
My Little Ponies followers convention.
That's for shit.
Alright, so the nerd who's walking around looking for Pokemon is going to judge the nerd
I'm
who's
walking
watching
out.
My Little
I'm
Pony.
out walking just because I happen to catch Pokemon while I'm out there.
This is the judgment. This is the stuff I don't get. Like, how are you holier than thou on the guy who's watching?
I'm not
My Little
saying
Pony?
holier. To each his own. To each his own.
You just said that's bullshit about the guy who's going to the Brony convention.
I'm not gonna do the My Little Pony thing because I'm not a female.
Yeah, but the Brony convention is bros who watch My Little Pony.
See, I've never heard of it. To each their own, though. They do their thing, I'll do my thing.
You should watch the Netflix documentary on the Bronies.
There's a Netflix?
Netflix. They are more famous than anything you've done.
Next week on the podcast.
Yeah, we can totally talk about BronyCon. A friend of mine, Jim Force, Jim Gisriel, and in fact, I highly recommend you guys check out his channel as well. YouTube.com/Jim, JimGisriel, Jim Gisriel, was on a couple of panels at BronyCon, and he was also did a couple of podcasts while he's there. He's a member of the POS podcast, but it gives you a new insight when you talk to somebody who's actually there. And so check it out. That's what I'll say. It is definitely something that's interesting. But what was I saying? Oh, so there was a couple of guys at BronyCon who then went out to go find Pokemon. They're not from the city of Baltimore. They find themselves in a rough neighborhood in West Baltimore. And this 6'5", 300-pound black guy comes up to them. And the guy who's recanting this story is just like, I'll be honest, we were scared. We were in a bad neighborhood. Strange guy walks up to us and he goes, you find that Hufflepuff or what? Or whatever the fuck. Jigglypuff.
That reminds
You find that Jigglypuff or what?
That reminds me of Matt when we went to Philly for an ICP concert.
Yeah.
Be honest with you.
So now this bunch of short white guys from BronyCon, who I still imagine are wearing their Brony outfits, are walking around West Baltimore with a 6'5", 300-pound black guy hunting Pokemons in Pokemon Go. just that these two groups would never, ever have ever met, except for they're both hunting for a Jigglypuff in freaking West Baltimore. So it's amazing. Yes, Gotham guys said Hufflepuff. You guys threw me off because you were talking about Harry Potter in the comments.
Sad
earlier.
to say, we spent an hour looking for Jigglypuff the other night.
It's sad to say that anyone is spending any time doing this, but that's beyond the fact. That's another topic.
But I'm getting exercise in the process.
Right. So it's bringing these communities together, which is great. But it's also causing some of the funniest memes and funniest videos ever.
Did you see the one about the dick pics?
No.
With the shit, I can't remember what that Pokemon's name is. But apparently people have been taking pictures with it. I've seen like 8 or 10 different pictures today.
Is that the one with the boxer with the fists up?
No, it's the one that comes out of the ground. Dig Dug?
Idea.
No, not Dig Dug. That's a fucking
Dig Dug is from the 80s, yeah.
God damn it.
Well, I've seen a lot of the ones
Diglett.
with the...
It's Diglett.
Of course it is. I've seen a lot of them with the boxer guy, and you see like the person getting up and squaring up with him, like, yo, fist up, whatever, what are we gonna do? You about to catch these hands, man. So there's that, and it's just like how do you get your Pokemon obsessed boyfriend to come over? Like, yo, I got a Pikachu in my pants over here. Why don't you come catch him? Okay. Gotham Guy says Diglett is the name of the Pokemon.
I already said it.
Yes.
Delay kills us sometimes.
So it's bringing these groups together, and they're having... I'm going to give you guys a couple pieces of advice. Number one, eyes up. Eyes up when you're walking around. Because...
Don't run into a pole busting up.
My favorite...
have done.
My favorite videos are the ones of people who realize that every guy who walks into the park, and there's like the little poles to make sure that people can't drive on the sidewalk, and like you'll see the guy sitting there just recording, and you see people walking up and they're chasing the Pokemon, and like it's just 40 seconds of dudes just walking right into the pole over and over and over again.
I will say this: there's a Pokestop at the 4th Street park. I won't go near that one.
Why?
Because I don't want to be the person that's there trying to get the Pokestop and somebody thinks I'm a predator or some shit.
Oh, fair enough.
Me and Matt were walking around one night and he was like, yo, let's go hit this one. I was like, nope. You on your own. He's like, why?
If you go at night,
it's a kid's park.
If you go, I think the kids are there playing Pokemon too.
There was at dusk and there was kids swinging on the swing. I was like, because we were waiting on his friend to come out of the house. I was like, nope, not going over there.
I think you're a little too touchy on that, but maybe methinks he does protest too much. But there's videos of people falling off curbs, people walking into poles, there's reports of people getting hit by cars, accidents happening.
Some of them are false.
Some of them are false, but there are some that are true. There's people getting hit by cars. Like, it's ridiculous.
There's other people being hit by cars too, and I'm sure we'll get into that too, right?
Yes, we are going to get into that. But, so it's maybe, and Miranda said, Flash's Darwin Awards, Miranda says maybe it'll weed some people out. I think that maybe this is the next stage of human evolution. That we can get rid of all the betas who are out here playing Pokemon by process of elimination through Darwinism being at work, natural selection. So either they can't procreate because they've had too many nutshots on poles, or because they get hit by cars walking down the street. But the other side of that like is really kind of disturbing to me is that there's a lot of kids who are out walking on their own, and I get concerned as a adult human being when I see a group of 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds walking the street at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I did it in my age, but in this day and age, wouldn't let it happen.
You never know what's out there, and I mean, there's also stories about people using the geolocation to rob people because they know there's a Pokestop there and people are going to come, or a gym. They
set up a lure in an alleyway for that same exact reason, which is a fucked up thing for somebody to do, but this is America.
Yes, this is the society that we live in. Oh gosh, Gotham Guy says that an acquaintance of his said the next next evolution is mental. It supports that claim. Either that or time machine style. We're gonna make a split, and the smart people are gonna go one direction, and everyone else is gonna go the other direction. And Flash, we'll get into that in a little bit as well. But it's disconcerting.
Only if you're on iPhone.
There are a lot of positives and a lot of negatives. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the same actions have both of those. It's great that you're out and you're meeting people in public, but you're out meeting strangers in public, and it's great that
what we did before internet.
Well, but now we're in a different society though, and now things are. It's just a different world, and now you are out getting exercise. That's great, and you're walking 10 miles a day, but you're walking at 2:30 in the morning, so. Yes, Gotham Guy. Those of some people will become warlocks. Some people will become the other people, which I can't remember right now. So it's a mixed bag. So it's great that it's out there. It's great that it's offering some positives, but a little bit of second thought, a little bit of attention to detail would go a long way when it comes to this thing about doing it the right way. Not writing Team Blue on the church because it's going to make people freaking hate the Pokemon people who come by.
And it'll make the cops show up, which Rob don't like anyway, so... If he's Team Blue, he don't want to be there.
But, so, the other side of that is the information that you're giving up. So, the Pokemon app requires a lot of... accessibility, a lot of admission on everything.
And it's worse on an iPhone than it is Android.
Well, that's like saying cutting off your foot versus cutting off your hand. Yes, one of them is worse, but they're both pretty bad. So the game itself, just to play it, you clearly know that you... Sorry, Flash said she read an article talking about how it discriminates against people with disabilities. Listen, I'm as PC... as the next guy, but to say that a game that requires you to go out into the world discriminates against people with disabilities is a whole separate thing. I don't think that you can say, will you stop playing the damn game while we're podcasting?
I had to do that on purpose.
It requires you to go out into the world. Some of the world is not accessible when you have disabilities. It's unfortunate, but that's the way that it is. You shouldn't say that should they map the game solely in places that are only accessible by wheelchair or by blind persons with a cane or a guide or that have, you can't do that. It's a full world game. It's not discriminating against anybody. If you're blind and you can't see the screen, how are you going to play it? Does that mean it discriminates against people who are blind? No, it's not meant for everybody. So, unfortunately.
Blind, why would you even know about Pokemon?
Because you hear people talking about it, because they're listening to podcasts, because they're hearing the news and they see it. What did you just get? Bellsprout? He just got a Bellsprout.
Yeah, it was like CP of 400. Look,
so
now he's got me looking.
While you play the game, though, you know that you're utilizing your GPS. You know that you're utilizing your notifications. You know that the game, while playing the game, you still are getting email. In fact, it allows you to get your notifications for email and text messaging while you're in the game, right? Yep. It's using GPS. It's using the camera. It's using your data.
I don't use my camera.
You don't actually take the pictures?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I do, just for shits and giggles, but most of the time my AR is off.
Okay, so, but it's, you know that it's accessing a lot of information about you. And it's actually the terms and conditions or the requested accessibility is actually way higher than that. So, are you concerned at all about the accessibility question?
No, because I already think that the government can access our phones anytime they want to look through our shit.
I thought it was interesting when I think it was Vice did an interview with Snowden and said, "Can you make this a black phone?" And then they talked about how everything that would have to go into making it a black phone. He pops out 6 microphones and 3 cameras and everything to do it. And he takes the NFC chip out and all sorts of crazy stuff in order to make it a black phone. So Miranda says it's doing everything that the NSA has been doing for years, except game makers were upfront about it. I don't know how upfront they were about it. It was in the accessibility. So it's the thing that like the terms and conditions that everyone's like, I want Pokemon Go. Install accessibility. Yes, 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 yes. And so just let it go. So.
But then that's their own fault for not reading.
Maybe so, but they're also, we know that Nintendo and the makers of Pokemon Go had not been shy about saying that they're fine with sharing information if necessary, not only to third-party people who are trying to sell you shit, but to the government as well. So you're not concerned at all about how that's going to impact you?
No. What do I got to hide? What do I got to hide?
Kenny says, what do I have to hide as I look nervously around my apartment?
What do I vape
mm-hmm.
and do podcasts.
Yes, Gotham Guy, that is. That's how they get you because people don't read the terms.
And when I'm not working, I go catch Pokemon, so.
Miranda says, agreeing to everything is the user's fault, though. You know that, being a lawyer and all, Rob. Yes, I do know that. But unfortunately, the game doesn't allow you to choose between what accessibility you give it. For the most part, you have to accept all the accessibility.
I mean, it essentially it's the same thing with the PlayStation.
Yeah.
When you, if you read through the user's agreement, you technically don't own the PlayStation 4. You're more or less running it.
Yeah. And well, you can't modify it.
Yeah. You can't modify it, and when you read through the fine print at the very bottom, which nobody ever reads anyway when they get one of these systems, they own everything, and if you don't disagree with it, they can share stuff if they want to,
right, in
order to make more money.
Well, I guess so. The question for everyone in the chat room there is anybody worried about all the permissions that you're giving to the company to play the game, to essentially have something that's really just wasting time?
I wouldn't be worried about it any more than I would be Facebook.
Well, but Facebook's permissions are actually less than the Pokemon Go game.
Maybe, but I'm not any less worried about it because Facebook would give up that same information.
Well, and actually Facebook's been better about hiding information from the government and from third parties. They have third-party partners that you know that you're sharing information with, but and they've been really good about not giving up information to the government. So, Gotham Guide Corporation, it says corporations are law now. That's absolutely true. They are everything nowadays, Miranda says. And half the info is already known or out there somewhere, somehow. Gotham Guy says, yeah, it is true, but when you are playing the game, you essentially become a beacon for the world around you. And the funny thing is, do you remember that scene from Batman, The Dark Knight, I think? The Dark Knight Rises? Where he's using all the phones to, like, listen into the whole world and create, like, a map of the world?
No.
Did you see The Dark Knight Rises?
I'm pretty sure I own it.
Alright, I think it's The Dark Knight Rises. It's Heath Ledger's. Yeah, it's Heath Ledger's Dark Knight Rises. So essentially what we've done is create exactly that. That we've created a world where we're sending people out of their homes and out into the world with a live microphone and a bunch of cameras. And if someone were so inclined, they could in fact create basically a digital map of the world at any given moment using the microphones and the cameras. So that's scary for me. I don't know if it's scary for anyone else, but yeah, Flash, I feel you on those lists as well. So I do want to get into kind of what's going on in the rest of the world. Before we do that, though, take a little sidebar just for a minute. Before we got started today, I was very happy to show Kenny the newest episode of Heretics. So what did you think of Heretics?
It was great.
Yeah?
I wish there was more to it, like always.
Right.
Your first official writing, as you said to me, I believe?
The first time that I started the script, kind of the way we broke it down is 4-on-4, Corey wrote 4, I wrote 4, and then we just traded. And edited each other's, and then traded back and edited each other's again. So this is the first one that started out with me working. So, yeah, so essentially it's the first script that we wrote.
My one thing I would love to see for an episode is just somebody show up in, like, whatever character suit that you're talking about at the time.
Well, so we're being really careful about using intellectual property. So we are making reference to stuff. We're having our characters wear things that are available for sale. But I have been kicking around the idea of having characters come back for another episode. Because I thought this episode especially, Parents would be a great one to see what happens down the road with those same characters. So, but one comment you kept making is, I wish it was longer, I wish it was longer, I wish it was more.
I do that every episode.
And listen, I wish that we could produce more, and we really, like, the only thing that limits us is we shoot for 7 hours to make a 4-minute video. So I hope that everybody takes a chance to check that out. It's youtube.com/OTheAnthem. Just click on the playlist that is Heretics, and you'll be able to see all 4 current episodes. We actually got a new one coming out this Friday, so you'll be able to see a new episode coming this Friday. And basically, I mean, we do those on a very shoestring budget. So it's Corey and I kind of funding the thing as best as we can. And we do it with the help of viewers from out there in viewerland. So if you would like to help us out, the best way you can do that is to go to patreon.com/OTheAnthem. It's patreon.com/OTheAnthem. Become a subscriber and a supporter on there for as little as $1 a month. You can help support us. It helps us produce all of this material that we have. And I would love to, at one point, just be knocking these things out weekly. But to do that's going to require a lot of funding. And we need to have the support of our listeners out there to do that. So, so check out the episodes of Heretics. Share them, please, on Facebook, Twitter, all over the place. Let everybody know that you enjoyed them. And, of course, while you're there, check out episodes of the OD Anthem podcast. New episodes of that podcast every Tuesday. So make sure you check that out. And check out our Patreon page. We got a lot of great stuff on there. There's a lot of bonus material that you're not going to see anywhere else. You really want to check that out. And it's a great way to help out the podcast. So look for the new episode of Heretics this Friday, episode 5. And hopefully we can continue to put out this good free material that everybody seems to enjoy so much. So, but so what I want to get into really is,
because I feel like you haven't talked about this on the Anthem yet.
well, we talked about it actually the episode that just came out this week, and
still playing catch up.
It's a touchy subject, but I'm upset. Part of the reason that I am objecting so much to Pokemon Go is that I see a lot of people posting about it, a lot of people spending a lot of time doing it, and those people not knowing what's going on in the world. We have a lot going on in the country and in the world right now, and a lot. It's great to have diversions, and I know you guys in the comment section were commenting about it earlier.
117.
I know.
That's a new record.
If you would like to repost your comments, feel free to try and catch up to where we are now. But
somebody open the door?
I don't think so.
Keep talking.
But there's a lot going on in the world. Gotham Guy, thank you. You did exactly what I asked, so I appreciate that. Gotham Guy said it distracts from the dreary crap that the current modern life. It's a better distraction than sitting at home on media screens, which is great. But if we run the risk of being too distracted about not being involved in what's going on in the world, there's a lot of really important stuff going on. And if you're just going to sit at home and watch Netflix, then sure, you might as well go outside and play Pokemon. If you're going to sit at home and check out what's going on in your country and in the world, then maybe that would be preferable to being so distracted by something that's taking over your entire life. Like, for what it's worth, I was talking to Karina about this earlier. She was on point. She knows everything that's going on. So she wants to go out and waste a couple hours chasing Pokemon?
I know what's going on, too.
If you want to go out and waste a couple hours chasing Pokemon, but you know what's going on, and you have an opinion...
I mean, we both know why I don't get involved, so...
Right, well, because he likes to lick boots of cops, which is totally fine. You're allowed to do that.
I have cop friends.
So do I.
You do. But you also know Scott's a good cop.
I never say there aren't good cops.
No. It's a normal thing. Just like with Juggalos. Every tree has its bad apples.
But...
Were any of these cops that you're talking about were in the right?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Was the shooter in the Dallas thing right?
No. No.
No.
Probably not. Although one of the cops who was shot was apparently a white supremacist, too.
Well, then he might have deserved it.
Right.
It needs to stop being about race.
Well, and the police shoot white people, they shoot black people. It's not really about race, but I am fully a supporter of Black Lives Matter. I think we should push that on. But that's not really what.
All lives
that's
matter.
not really that. Don't even get me started about that.
I've seen the memes.
Distraction is good. It's good to distract ourselves because we all need to have self-care. We always need to take care of ourselves so we can stay moving forward. But the risk that we run is, I mean, I'm trying to think of a good example, and unfortunately there isn't one. Gotham Guy says people need to pick me up sometime with all the sadness and stuff going on. Distraction can be that, but sometimes it takes too much away. That's exactly what I was trying to say there, Gotham Guy. And Miranda says in this game is exactly into the demographic that needs to be paying attention to the world around them. That is exactly what I'm saying. Is that it's all about, as St. Peter said, it's all about all things in moderation. So self-care is great. Taking a break and going out and catching some Pokemon is great. If you're using that as a distraction or you're letting it overwhelm yourself so you don't know what's going on in the world and in your country, not so great. If you are so obsessed with what's going on in the world that you don't do anything fun, that you focus your entire life on just everything political that's going on, and you drive yourself insane.
Pokemon, God damn it!
Well, I wish that it interested me in the least. So instead, what I do is I write. That's my distraction, and unfortunately, some of the writing doesn't. But I mean, I went and saw Independence Day.
The cause. When?
Done. The calls is done.
Is it?
It's done. I'm going out to do. I gotta go shopping today.
When can I read it?
I have to get one last edit. Edit through. The writing is done. That was the goal number one. The writing is done, and then.
I'll high five you for that.
And then we got to get it out to get published. So Miranda says the pick me up can come from uniting with like-minded individuals. That's what Miranda. That's what happened last night. Actually, going and meeting with this talking group that I went to was a huge pick me up, and it helped with my self-care. Gotham Guy says baby boomers have always been trying to undermine us. If that's all right to say, it's absolutely all right to say, Gotham Guy. And Flash says I do go to movies occasionally. I do. I saw Independence Day Resurgence. Wait for DVD. It's not worth the money to go see in the theater.
I figured that because Will Smith's not going.
But and it's not just Will Smith. The plot left something to be desired. But I at times am too overly absorbed in what's going on in the world. And I need to take a break, and I need to take some time, and I probably should take more time to do that. But for me, I want to be involved. I want to say what's going on, and I wish that was my job. I wish that just being involved was my job. And also, I mean, here's the thing. I wish I was into Pokemon. I wish that the idea of going around and catching these things. Kenny said something a little earlier, which is I am batting 1,000 on catching Pokemon. One Pokeball, one captured Pokemon. That was it. Because I was walking up to somebody who was on the street who was cursing loudly at their phone in front of children, and I had watched a YouTube video, because you go down the hole, about how to catch Pokemon, and I leaned over his shoulder and I said, "Do you mind?" And I just touched, flicked, caught the Pokemon, and I was like, "You're welcome," and walked away. So I have tried to catch one Pokemon, I've used one Pokeball, and I've captured one Pokemon. So I think I'm going to go out on top. 1 for 1, batting 1,000. I'll be in the Pokemon Hall of Fame. So,
you know what I would like to say? Even though you won't agree with it.
Yeah.
But because you do Uber and everything else for next week,
yeah,
I'd like to see you just download the app and just randomly pull it up here and there on your journeys.
Yeah.
If something's in your area, see if you can catch it.
I write while I'm in the car. I am recording, I am listening to stuff, I'm staying up to date.
Spend 45 seconds during that.
I can't, I'm not going to do it in the car because I recognize that it's really stupid to be chasing Pokemon in a car.
You know how many people I've seen
chasing
Pokemon in the car?
And now I need to keep eyes up because those stupid people are chasing them in the car. God, we got a lot of comments going on. I would come to the rescue in the face of kids. I'm not really sure what that was in reference to. Sorry, Miranda. Gotham Guy says, I know you know things. Asking you gets people thinking. Hopefully they do research about it afterward for their own knowledge. Yes. Yes, Flash, I am always the hero. Thank you.
Rob cameo in
Rob
Heretics.
will not be having any cameos on Heretics.
Your car did.
My car had a cameo.
We had a Rob
That will
cameo.
be as close as it gets to Rob getting a cameo on Heretics. So, yeah, so not acting is not for me. I prefer to just write the thing and be done with it. But,
That's not fun.
so, I mean, the overall message that I have for those who are playing Pokemon is great. Enjoy it. If that's what you like, if that's what you're into, I mean, I'm jealous. I've said before, I wish I was the guy who could go work his 8 hours at a job, come home and drink a couple beers and go to sleep and do it every day and get off the weekends and have the wife and 2 kids. And it's just not me. That's not. That's not.
Kids.
That right. It's not me.
Stop kidding.
That's not what
kids.
makes me. That's not what drives me. That's not what makes me happy. The idea of that just sounds miserable to me. I would prefer prison to that.
You want to plug some holes on your journey to Terminus. Walking Dead
Yes.
reference.
Absolutely. And yes, Flash, ignorance is bliss. And I think, for the most part, that's, in my mind, that's what that is. Now, if you were to ask those people, they're perfectly happy. And there are stages. In between that, then you have the people who just, they go out and they work their shift wherever they are, and they go out and catch some Pokemon, and they're really super happy. I wish I could be that. One, the Pokemon thing doesn't interest me, and I was never into it. I never had the cards, I never played the games, never did anything.
You were super sheltered as a child also, so...
Not from Pokemon. I mean, I could have played that if I wanted. I just was not interested in it. I was interested in girls and other stuff like that. So, not staying up till 4 on Twitter would really super help that. Flash, yes, that. But I get involved in stuff. Stuff happens overnight. Not gonna do that, Flash.
Nope,
I'm not even gonna say that.
That is definitely no.
So,
I don't even do that one.
yeah, but yeah. So if that's what it is for you, if people go out and they find peace in their life by going out and playing Pokemon, fucking great, do it. If you need more than that, and I would say even if that does make you happy, take a little bit of time to be on the other side. I'm going to try and take some time to be on your side, not with Pokemon, but with something else. But I'm going to try that. You should try the other way. Can you give us just 5 minutes? Just go. We'll come get you in 5 minutes, okay?
Oh, look, she gave me a look. What?
My stomach still hurts.
Go to your room. If you feel sick, go to the bathroom and throw up. Please. Thank you.
See, so I'm going to try and be a little bit more like those people. They should also try to be a little bit more involved in what's going on in the world, and it's a happy medium. So, I mean, that's basically the overall message, I think. But in the end, the biggest thing that I take away from this is technology is fucking amazing. Just the idea of this thing. I know in the comment section, which everybody should check out at youtube.com/c/dirtyshore-UG-OTA. You should check, they were talking about Harry Potter being a HP Go. Like an out in the world Harry Potter thing. What would you think about that?
Never seen Harry Potter.
You never seen anything Harry Potter? Oh wow, alright. Well, so I've actually seen that because I had a girlfriend who loved those movies, and
Forced you to watch it?
Forced me to watch it, forced me to go to the midnight Thursday showings and stand in line outside and everything. Things we
You
will do
could force
for,
me to go see Deadpool 2.
the things we do in our 20s for women. Other things Rob will not be doing in the future. Waiting in line at midnight for something. But
Have you seen Purge yet?
I've not seen Purge yet. Purge
Okay.
on the list to see.
Cool. Cool. We're
do
good
need
to
to
go
see
then.
that. But Gotham Guy, I agree completely. Technology is a mix of things. It's everything. It's good and bad and all over the place. But the ability for a game on your phone to bring so many different people together, to get them out into the world and actually doing things, is fantastic. I imagine the next update to Pokemon Go is going to have a speed limiter, where if you're going above a certain speed, it's not going to let you log into the game.
Already there.
So how are people doing in the car?
When they did the incubation thing for the eggs,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going above like normal running speed,
Yeah.
it's not going to track it.
But I mean, so you can still drive and snatch Pokemon while you're driving, though, right?
If you do it quick enough.
Right. If there's an
But
accelerometer,
you gotta be really quick with it, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying, because I tried it today coming back from Martinet. I was quick enough to grab the Pokestops,
yeah,
which is the second it comes in range, inside the circle.
yeah.
So the second you see it, you click it, you spin it.
And then even if
I was
you
quick
get out
enough
of
to get that, but I
right.
wasn't quick enough to get any Pokemon.
Well, but so if they have the accelerometer, they can say if you're traveling more than 6 miles an hour, no, don't even be operable. That will certainly help everything.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a. We'll see what happens, but hopefully, like I said, hopefully it continues because it's weird. All the stuff I've been talking about is things that are dividing people up, and then we have this fantastic thing that's bringing people together. People of all races.
Blue team, apparently.
Why? Unless you are trying to cause a fight because of
and I'll send you the picture again.
Thing.
I'll send you the picture again so you can post it with the
so
video.
Put it in the post. Yeah, but yeah. So it's good and bad, and I mean like everything, it's good and bad. And it's just like the anime thing.
Some people take stuff too seriously.
Well, yeah, but it's just like the anime thing. I wasn't into anime, so anime is not that big a deal for me. I know people who were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! I can actually capture them. I can be in the game," and it took over their lives. So everything in moderation, and hopefully we're still talking about this. What I would love is that a year from now we're still talking about this, but all the problems are gone, and it's just about how the 1-year anniversary of Pokemon Go and the world's perfect and there's no problems anywhere else. So now we can focus on it. Yeah,
it would be great.
So now this is the only thing we have to worry about. That would be awesome.
But we won't be catching Pokemon in August when we're at ACW again.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, if you are in the local area, make sure you hit up Russell the Love Muscle for your tickets because we will be live in about a month, right? It's a month from now.
August
19th?
20th.
It is 20th. This Saturday. August 20th, so about a month from now. 6 weeks from now. So we'll be there, so make sure you come to join us there. We're actually going to have our phones powered up, so we're going to try to have a little bit more live streaming while we're there, so make sure you join that. Yeah, so you have anything else for this week?
Hold on, I'm trying to find a picture.
Of what?
Because a picture was sent to me from a strip club where a pitsy was on the girl's ass while she was spinning around the pole.
Yes, there's those pictures. There's the Pikachu's in my pants, come get them. All that stuff. But
I can't find it. It disappeared.
So keep us updated on what you guys are doing out there in the world with the Alliance. And I get a feeling that Gotham Guy is not Team Instinct. Is that what you are?
Yes, I'm Team
Not Team Instinct.
I'm Team Yellow, and I'm part of the Facebook group for the Eastern Shore Forum.
Okay. Gotham Guy, I'm glad that you enjoyed that. We're gonna do that again in a couple weeks, so make sure you join us for that. In the meantime, make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's the best way to stay up to date with everything that's going on. You can make sure you get the live streams there. We're live streaming this and every episode at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG -OTA. Make sure you join us there. 168 comments tonight. Crazy.
That's probably a new record.
Crazy. So
Pokemon brings people together.
So make sure that you check that out, the live stream at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG -OTA, so you can see all the comments and what everybody was talking about during the podcast. And make sure you join us next week for the live stream, so you can join us and be part of the show as well. Make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for all the latest updates. And of course, check out DirtyShoreUnderground.com where you can get this episode and every episode and all the updates there as well. You can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you're checking out robertncheek.com for links to my political blog, to the news website, and for links to my books, which are available on Amazon, which are about to double now that I have 2 more coming out this year. So, looking forward to that. The calls is going to be out. By the end of the summer, I will have it out.
You said start of summer like 8 months ago.
We're finally done. Yes, not all of us have time to be walking around hunting Pokemon all day.
Pokemon wasn't out then. Back then, we were getting
on.
hit by hackers bringing us food in the middle of the night.
We got shit.
But they didn't pay for it.
I got shit going on, and I don't have time to be doing all this stuff.
But you came back when the hacker
Yes,
Send us food.
I did. But make sure you guys come back next week because we will be back again with another live stream. Keep your eyes out for that at 30 Short UG on all your social networks. Until then, have a great week, everybody.
Good night, everybody. You know I'm gonna miss this shit when you leave.